Now, I know we had some doubts regarding the breakout from the 299 to 301 area from last night. We fortunately got it, and I gotta say that there were some signals that were giving us the idea for that potential breakout anyway. Things like volatility, right? Things like momentum, and also a few touches of a resistance specific to, I don't know, call it a hint. Call it an intuition, call it whatever you want, right, guys? But the important thing is that the XRP army won, and we are now making the break into a new zone that can create a support out of a prior one, and that is your first leg. So let's go ahead and find out what's going to go on with the price action here with the XRP. Welcome back, everybody. Please do me the favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. My name is Arca, coming at you at 8:56 p.m. Pacific time, Thursday, October 2nd, and we are looking at price action spot on XRP 302.43 in real time. So what is going to happen here, guys? We know that we are still within the shutdown, and there is, I've been catching lots of different opinions, lots of different data too. Things like, the longer that we stay closed, right, or shut down, the more I guess the probability would be that the Fed would ease. So that is absolutely bullish, and I think the markets are absolutely feeling it too. If you remember from about a week and a half ago, we were speaking about the potentials of a market-wide short squeeze in light of the upcoming events, right, guys? So we are doing pretty good. We are looking pretty damn good, and we just want to know where price action is headed to during this time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the closures first, right? Let's observe that, sure, certainly we did get the daily close, right? So this is just about 20 hours, 2 minutes, and 25 seconds and counting to its close, right? So what I want you to observe is actually this right over here. This is your prior day, right? And there is a 60 to 70% chance that the new daily print would retrace 30 to 50% of your prior bar, and that is absolutely what we're doing. If we just go ahead and measure that prior day's high to low, right? Look at that 50%. We're actually sitting on it right now. Real-time price 302.21 is the 50% of your prior day. Now let's go ahead and keep on moving down here, because we want to know if the buy daily or the 3-day or the 4-day also closed, right? So no, we actually just got about 20 hours to close that buy daily time frame. 3-day time frame, same thing there. Same with the 4-day. That's because we got all that crap as a brand new open, right? So we do have the opening of a new 5-day candle here, guys, and this of course gives you the probabilities of dropping just like any other bar, right? But what would invalidate that downside? Well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and put some discretion into this, because this 5-day candle here that's located on, I guess, from Tuesday, September 3rd, 2025 to the low wick of the July 25th, Friday, 2025 candle, there is confluence within the high and low of that bar there. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach a little bit of a trend line right at that point. But guess what? That trend line is already drawn by the macro supports of which we've been observing here for, I don't know, man, months and months. It is that magical 299.79 as a soft support, right, guys, or soft resistance. It doesn't always fail. It doesn't always succeed. It always just is variable, right? It's what it is, man. It's okay, but that's currently what we're kind of using here as a bounce from the retracement, as we moved, we were talking about the price action entering at around 293. We were talking about the probabilities of going into this specific price of around 302.47, breaking that 302 would be the gateway into the 304 to 305 area. So I'm actually pretty impressed that we went up to just about 310. So that now converts, breaking that big. Yeah, it gets you a pretty nice support here. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, because we can absolutely still come back down to the areas of 292, 293, but at this point, we're going to validate that as well, right, with momentum and volatility. But at this point, I'm seeing that this is a considerable area. There could be the building blocks of a bull flag here on the 4-hour time frame XRP USD. So let's just go ahead and find out deeper information. But before we get there, team, please know that when you join the Arca Bulls Discord, you will very likely be approached by some scammer or something pretending to be me, utilizing my name as whatever, right? So know for a fact, know right now that I will never reach out to you first. I will never friend request you first. It is not me, okay, guys? So make sure to validate that in some way, shape, or form, but know that I will never reach out to you or even ask you what crypto you're trading and to transfer crypto over. No. That's not me, guys. Okay. So guys, we are just about 1 to 2 lectures away from closing the beginners master's course. And that's going to be live with me. The mentorship is only $100 for 9 weeks. Come by, come all right. So make sure to enroll as soon as possible, or else those seats are going to go away. Find the details in the description below where you will see the packages for the back to school event. Okay, guys, enough with the chilling. Let's go ahead and continue with the charting here. So yeah, let's go ahead and validate this move with I guess volatility. Number one, we want to notice that we do have the presence of some kind of an inverse head and shoulders here, right? The little crayons, the little drawings here. So let's go ahead and just kind of acknowledge that for a bit. We were observing the inverse head and shoulders to have a take profit target of roughly around the areas of 316.24, right? So that's pretty impressive. That's pretty nice. Are we going to get it? Well, you know, it's a high probability formation. It is built on, you know, after that downside. So that gives it validity. Nice regression here, right? And yeah, that gives us a pretty nice bump all the way to that 316. So far, so good. We're around 90% the target, or around 88% the target. So I'd say fair enough. Now, do we have continuation based on other means? Possibly. And this is where I have to talk to you about something specific. It's not the best thing and I don't want to show you this, but I do have to present this to you. Bitcoin dominance. So the dominance chart on Bitcoin is showing, you know, also a very similar inverse head and shoulders. What's crazy here is that Bitcoin dominance is inverse the XRP asset. So whenever dominance goes up on Bitcoin, spot price action, or XRP in general, drops. It's counter-reactive. So you can actually tell when we bring up the ticker XRP into this chart. You can kind of see here that XRP does have an opposing reaction to what dominance has to show. Now, our deal here is to try to identify the potential invalidation of this continuing to the upside, because I got to say that on XRP, we are building and we are cascading volatility like no other. We're gathering this and it's echoing into major time frames further and further. So much so that we're getting targets of above 366. So how is that possible if we are noticing weakness coming in through the inverse? Well, that can only mean that there could be some type of invalidation present. So can we find the bear play within the bull play here to take this out? Maybe so. I have some ideas here and I'm going to share them with you, and I want you to let me know what you think in the comments below when you see this video here on YouTube. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on this, guys. I'm noticing that there is a very curious channel. I'm not this here, right? Not this. I'm talking about, where's the regression thing? This thing here. Check it out. I'm talking about this right over here, somewhere along the lines of this right here, right? Something like that. So do we have the presence of a potential drop here? So that's kind of highlighting something a little bit different, right? Let me just get rid of the that, and let's get rid of also this here. Okay, great. So yeah, I'm observing the probabilities of something like this. It doesn't mean that it's right. You can see that I've never even practiced it myself, right? So we can do the wick basis, something like this here, right? To this bottom side, fit all the connectors here as best as we can, and then observe the potentials of these top sides. Could they be false breaks if we just use this resistance? Sure, it could be, right? Now, my point is that this is a bearish channel and that it could be used for the downside. And can we though? You know, I'm going to give you the target on this. This is the way that you measure the target for an ascending channel. Just take the width of the channel itself, apply it to where you think we're going to break out from, And this would be giving you the 57 spots, 60% of the dominance chart. So if that is the case, then there could be reason for us to move towards the upside soon, because we're building that volatility anyway. And it feels like the broader markets too, like the ES and the traditional equities, they feel incredibly bullish. Although we had some type of corrective move today, but that's normal. But let me show you real quick here what ES is doing, what the S&P 500 E-mini futures contracts are doing at the present moment. Take a look at this chart. It's trading live right now, and it's going back up to the all-time highs. So there is something super, super, super curious happening here. Either Bitcoin dominance is about to rhyme with the upside of the XRP because it has happened, right? It has. Or someone's fucking lying. I don't know what the hell the deal is here, guys, but this is a potential bear play here. So if I can give you that bear play, this would be the execution from this point down here. 57 spots, 60%, bottom side of dominance. Do we see anything on USDT? Certainly we do. So here's what I'm seeing here. There is a present inverse head and shoulders as well, which I think is a bull trap. So this is on a 3-day time frame, guys. That's where you want to notice or identify bull traps or bear traps, larger time frames, right? So this, if it really does, it tried to break out yesterday. Notice that over the last week or whatever that is, it tried to break out, but we got that downside, the dip, all the way to 269. So if it is that it's now invalidating the play, I would really need this candle here. It's a 3-day candle, right? We still have 19 hours, 52 minutes, 38 seconds and counting for it to close. I would really need this to move at least, I would say 75 to 80%, the inverse head and shoulder structure for invalidation. I know we can do it. We know we can do it at the 60%, all that, but I really want it to be done, right? So if we can do that, that means that we'll bounce from the regression at around 4.03% USDT. This is tether dominance. We'll come back to resist from the areas of 4.13 or 4.20% and literally make our downside possible. In other words, I expect a dead cat bounce. So if we do have a dead cat bounce on this, guys, the targets to the downside are monumental, which means that USDT dominance and the Bitcoin dominance are actually showing us the probabilities of a massive, massive run to the upside on your risk on assets for like your XRPs, your H bars, right? Your SUI, all those good things. And I think we're getting the hints from the inverse tickers. So if that is the case, guys, I'm giving you the warning right now that we may see a global delevering here. So this, I think just by the looks of this, it feels like the global open interest is incredibly high on futures trades, and that was the potential shakeout that happened over the last few days. And that pressure is literally building for a gigantic explosion. I'm not sure what it could be. Bitcoin has already reached 120,000 from lows that we were watching at 107s, 106, 108s, whatever that was. And now we're observing the probabilities of the futures contracts in the S&P 500 literally running to the all-time highs. Guys, something is happening. Just like I mentioned a week and a half ago, we're preparing a market-wide everything squeeze, and it's still happening right now. Okay, guys? So that is the idea behind Tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Let me know in the chart, in the chat below, what you feel about that. So if that is the case, guys, then we're not done with the upside that we have here within XRP. That means that we still have to fulfill the top side take profit of around 313.88 to 318.89, and that may actually be possible. I don't know, actually, probably by market open, probably by traditional market open this next session. Okay. Why can I assume that? Why did we even get a pullback? not the short sellers, guys. It's not manipulation. It's not anything. It's a breakout strategy, okay? So hold your horses right quick, guys. Don't get over to the FBI just yet. Let me just go ahead and show you what presently happened, okay? Remember, we talked about this. We talked about the take profit zones as in the resistance zones right up here, 307.62, right? 302.43 and 299.69. Very heavy areas of resistance. So if they are heavy and thick with resistance, then we might also find heavy support, right? Good stuff. So what happens here, guys, is that when we have historical resistances being touched and touched and touched and rejected from all the time, creates a liquidity pocket. So that liquidity is being chased here, right? So we're going to go ahead and break that liquidity and reattract the liquidity and inverse that side, right? So we're switching it's the turn of the tables here. We break above it, we come back and test it as a valid support, confirm the support, validation process, right? With enough confirmation, we build the next formation for the next upside, and that's what I have. So if it is that we have some type of determining factor or targeting method, let's just pretend that we're building here on a 4-hour time frame a bull flag. Measure the top side all the way to the bottom side to give you the measured move upside, right? So this is going to give you right about this target on the bull flag target. Interesting, right? Rhyming a little bit or no? 319.75 when we have a 318.89. So that's the hard target. Historical, tangible target. It's not about the psychological target. It's about what's near it. Okay? So that's looking pretty good to me. Not to mention that I do believe that it's also geometrically confluent as well. So, or confluent, right? So whatever it is, I think we still have an advantage over the bears here, and there could be still pressure to the upside. Let's just give it a quick validation before we finish this video and do the damn thing. Hit those ATRs in the chat below. Make sure to let me know that you're still there and you are hitting that subscribe button on YouTube and like button, right? So we can continue the taking over of the world for the Arca Bulls, right? So 2-minute time frame, really granular time here. We're going to validate the conditions to the upside based on some physics here, right, guys? Tiny time frame, inverse head and shoulders. Potential target is literally at this resistance zone from your range, right? 50% retrace of this area would land roughly at about 302.75 to about 302.88. It's getting prepared to do that. Upside cascading from the 1 minute to 2 minute. A little bit of declining volatility, but we would need this volatility to kind of shift to the upside so that it shows more buying and more selling overall. So far, this is just decompression. So let's go ahead and take a look at your 3-minute time frame. Upside. Now, I'm going to just speed up this process because this takes too long. So what I'm looking for is just this pivot on stochastic momentum. Should it be at all kinked to the upside, it's still upside. We need downside moving averages indefinitely. I mean, I'm talking about it has to be fully downside to determine the last time frame average true range for the upside. I know. It's crazy. Resistance number 1 is about to hit right here. Whatever, guys. It's just a gimmick that I do so that you can understand that, ooh, this guy's got a skill. He can tell us where price action is going right away. It's all a bunch of crap, guys. It's just price action. We know how to read it. We know how to perform it, whatever you want to call it. But enough with the shilling here, right? Anyway, so upside 3-minute time frame. Remember the stochastic momentum below. We're looking for the pivots, right? 4-minute upside continuation, 5-minute upside still, 15 upside still kinked, right? So this is your downside. This is your last downside here. 15-minute time frame of upside is what we're getting. Current ATR top 303.56, and we were looking for roughly a resistance on the inflections right around here of 302.89. So it is confluent. Okay, so I'm going to mark off the resistances from where we are at this present moment. This is what it would potentially be. Right where we are, 302.71 to roughly around your 302.89. This is an area to where you can find probabilities of the 15-minute time frame retracing down to the 50%. So if we give this just a few seconds here, you're going to start seeing a decompression of this bar at around these levels, right? So we want this resistance to kind of hit here, right? And then it'll meet its move. It'll meet the average upside, right? This is me assuming that the pull is just this big here. Certainly it can reach up to these areas, right? But I think that the higher probability for me would be right around these areas here. So as this thing closes, there could be a little bit of a bump to the upside, give you the idea that it's continuing to the upside, but then it could retrace to some local support to validate continuation to the upside. All right, guys. So I noticed a change on this. Take a look at this. It is actually still pivoted towards the upside. So this is not it just yet, guys. This gives us another time frame for the upside. Here's the pullback that we're talking about, right? Let's continue to the 20-minute time frame. 20-minute time frame, 4 minutes to close. This is likely to start pulling back too. We have a cascading event potential here, but not quite yet. Let's just validate. So this means that after this 5-minute closure, the 20-minute time frame would give us this potential pullback. Not sure if we're going to get it because this is a pretty good green bar. Let's assume that it's upside continuation. Screw it. 20 minutes up, that would give us definite 30-minute upside, 1 hour time frame upside still, 2 hours up, it's still kinked, and that would give us a total of 3 hours of upside, which looks like it's already been done, or it might continue now. We have about 4 cents on the ATR of the 3 hour time frame, giving us a current ATR top of about 306.73. Nice. So if we have a 306.73, what is the hard target that we're observing to the upside for resistance? Damn, there we go. 307.62. Interesting, right? That's your tangible target. 306.73, not 63, would be the top of your would be the top of your 6 hour bar. Interesting there too, right? Now, what is happening with the 6 hour bar right now though? It's closing in about an hour and a half. When that 6 hour bar reaches, I'd say 20 minutes to close, you would then face a retrace. So in other words, your new 6 hour bar, which is the one that we're on, is probably going to make a 50% retrace of your prior 6 hour bar, which is a shooting star, and we still don't have the absolute upside that we want. That means that this thing is likely going to retrace towards the targets of around 306. What? We literally said it. It's right there. 50%, the range of that entire 6 hour bar is literally the target that we just told you. The area that we would stop anywhere between 306.02, 306.73 or 307.62. That's going to mark off your 50% range. Then we pull back and do whatever else. So let's see. Let's continue it. Let's find out real quick. That's going to be your, let's see, upside continue. We were on the 20-minute. Yeah. 20-minute time frame total downside. So if that's the truth, the 20-minute gives us upside. That would be 30 an hour, almost done, 3 hours total. So from the 3 hour time frame, downside would start. We actually retrace, then we come back towards the opening valuation, which is around 302.30, and this would then continue to the ATR low, which is 298.07. Invalidate that, and we shall find our target. So 298.07 is located right about here. Even if it's 09, whatever, we're just going to leave it there for now. Now, clearly, we have an invalidation area, don't we? Right about there. Now, if it does show that it could stop at around 299, then it'll show that we were always right from yesterday, that we would pull back from that top side, potential lows of 302 to 299, and then continue towards the upside. So I have to give you an overall range, though. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. I do have to give you an overall range because it is what it is. So here we go. This would be roughly the 299.70. Oh, guess what? It's already there for us. Nice. Well, there it is. We marked it off a little bit earlier, right? So 298.09 and 299.69 is already presently there for us. Heads up in that target down there. Potential liquidity bottom could be actually 295, so heads up on that too, okay? Yeah, I expect this to happen within the next few hours. The bounce to the upside will continue, sure, based on your 4 hours, 6, 7, 8, 8, 20. We were at the 3 hour time frame. That turns into the upside for, yeah. That would be, yeah, I'm thinking, guys, that could be the support bound. So if we're looking at total topside by the 3 hour time frame, that means the downside starts at that time frame. 4 hours down, 8 hours down, we still have downside into the 12, and a daily's worth of downside, which gives you 12 cents. Daily ATR low located at where? 292.10. Okay, so we just spoke about the potentials of a 295, but invalidating the continuation to the downside is what I'm observing here. So if it is that we have a 292 low, but we're saying 299, what is the significance over a 299 low? That's actually your 50% retrace. It's sitting right at 302, which is what? The zone where we said support would land, 302 to 299, still within our pocket. I have a feeling we're going to false break down. This is going to be a liquidity grab on shorts, and we are literally going to use their entries for upside liquidity. Okay, how much upside? Daily up. Buy daily up. I know this video is going on for a long time, but I need to tell you this, guys. I know. I'm sorry. Upside 4 days, 5 days, and yeah, total of 1 week upside. We may be there already. Current ATR top. Nope, we're gonna head. We're headed to 325.50. What the hell is that? 325.50 would give us this this statistical target here, guys. Yep, I think that we would be heading towards this target here of about 318.88. Let me put a line right there. How much you want to bet that that line is already written for us in the stars? Let's go 318.88 without looking. Let's see what's up. There it is, 318.89 as the target that we have. But what's the box say? 318.84, 318.88, right in between. Good stuff, guys. All right, so I think this is a pretty good place to leave off. If any questions or concerns, make sure to reach out to me, guys. It's been a long-ass video, and I hate it so much, but I hope you love it. All right, team. Well, yeah, we'll talk very, very scary Larry Jerry soon. All right, team. Adios and adios. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Ever, 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 ever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well. A very, very good rest of your night and or day. And I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.